Picture this: three library staff members trapped inside the South Charleston Public Library. Aaron, Toby, and Josh, each with divergent tastes, tasked with watching each other's films. Can they survive with their sanity intact? Find out on Real Opposites, a library podcast about movies.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Real Opposites. I'm Aaron,
I'm Josh.
I'm Toby.
and we are back to discuss the choice from last podcast, which is my choice, and it is Horns from 2013. It's also a book by Joe Hill, who I love, and if you don't know, is Stephen King's son, who I also love. That's about what I read mostly. But I remember reading the book, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And then I can't remember if the movie was already out when I read it or if it came out later on. But I didn't see the movie until I had read the book. And I think it was one of Daniel Radcliffe's first movies outside of Harry Potter. Or like one of his bigger ones.
I mean, it would have been one of the ones post Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this and Woman in Black
Where
were the first two
Yeah.
post
Okay.
Harry Potter. But he was, yeah, he was mostly just making Harry Potter when
Yeah.
Harry
Right.
Potter series.
Yeah.
um,
So I just remember it must have been that this movie came out after I read the book, because I remember seeing it and being like, "Whoa, Harry Potter's playing that movie."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and it kind of caught my interest, and
he's a solid
Yeah,
actor. Like he's
Yeah.
good in
Yeah,
a lot of ways.
he plays in a lot of random stuff now, but
Yeah, I like that he's tried to have a very eccentric career.
yeah,
Like him and, to a certain extent, Robert Pattinson.
mhm.
Like, they both were in these, like, very teen, like,
They
oriented
both
Yeah.
were in
series.
Harry Potter.
They both were in Harry Potter, yeah.
They were
He was in, the
Cedric
fourth
he
one?
was Cedric Diggory. Yeah.
And but they both have post like Twilight and Harry Potter. They've both done very
different.
eccentric performances.
Yeah, which
um,
is nice to see people be able
Yeah,
to
I'm glad they're not they're not getting pigeonholed into
Right,
just doing
exactly.
like big tentpole movies.
It
I-
also felt like they were like, well, I've made my money. Now I just
Yeah.
make what
Yeah.
I want.
Pretty
which is
much.
nice.
I mean-
like
which is awesome.
a lot of what like Daniel Radcliffe does is like he did the Weird Al movie. He
Mhm.
did Guns Akimbo, which is wild. He done
Yeah.
this. He's done like
He did that
Swiss
one
Army Man with
where yes,
Paul
Yeah,
Dano,
where he's
where he's
dead.
a dead body the
Yeah.
whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
yeah.
I don't know,
So
man.
He's done some fun stuff. I didn't remember a lot of this movie or the book, I guess, when I rewatched this. So it kind of was watching it for the first time again.
Mhm.
I still enjoyed it. I will say there's a lot more nudity than I remember.
hey,
That's what I
I
started.
was wondering about that.
I started watching and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I was like,
oh, I don't remember any of this.
Aaron picked a movie with boobs.
I did.
I was like, how's the how plot serving is the nudity in
Right.
this movie, Aaron?
But I will say I do think the nudity to an extent had a reason in this. Because where he's like becoming a demon of some sort or devil, whatever, it was dealing a lot with good and bad, sin, things like that.
Yeah,
and
people's
I think
hidden
that
desires.
was
It's like,
representing the sin, but dang, there was a lot.
yeah,
There's there's a few scenes.
there's
Yeah.
not a ton.
It's not it's not Showgirls.
No, but just to me, it was like, whoa, I don't remember this kind of thing.
For prudish Aaron,
yeah,
it's a bit much.
It was a lot for me, but I still really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I think my favorite scene in relation to that is when the Dennis is like,
That's the one
we
I was
asked
thinking
you
of.
if we could have sex instead, and you said that's fine. And he's like, I was drugged.
Yeah,
Like, what do you mean?
was under anesthesia. What did you think?
Toby, you want to go?
I'm gonna let you go first. I feel like
I'm gonna bring it down.
I feel like I'm gonna be
I
in the middle.
figure.
I feel like I'm gonna be in the middle of the road here, so I'm gonna let you go first.
I didn't care for it.
Mm-hmm.
Radcliffe is good as always. He's very dependable.
Yeah.
I liked the supporting cast. Juno Temple was very good. I love her on Ted Lasso.
I like Joe Anderson also.
Yeah, and James Remar and Kathleen Quinlan, Heather Graham, David Morse. Like, it's nice to see some kind of veteran actors in
Yeah.
some bit roles. But yeah, I felt it was like very, very inconsistent.
Okay.
And tonally just all over the place. And I really hate the like dopey little murder mystery thing that they've got going on. Like it just doesn't work for me. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like it needs to be either one or the other. I don't think the script. I don't. Maybe the book is very different. That the script is like smart enough to balance those two things.
It
And
feels
so
like
like
it's too obvious from the start.
yeah, and like the murder mystery is like yeah, it's very obvious and it's just kind of I feel like I'm in like a CW
Okay.
like episode of Supernatural
I
or
see it,
something.
yeah.
I don't know.
Hey,
And
no,
it-
we don't slander your Supernatural.
No, I mean
Let me
I'm just saying
back
like
that out a little bit.
well,
Yeah, but there's a difference in
in a movie.
a big
mystery
movie and
and,
a
I
supernatural.
mean there's much better episodes of Supernatural than this. And it feels long, man. This movie, I think it's like right at 2 hours, but it feels long. Like
Okay.
it's drug out. I was really disappointed because I was reading, we picked this and I was reading up on it. I was like, oh, Alexandra Aja or Aja, however you say it, French director. He made High Tension and the Piranha remake, Piranha 3D, which
Yeah.
was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
The Hills Have Eyes remake, which was really good. He's made some like good movies I like good
Yeah.
like fun horror movies. I was like, oh, okay, this might be pretty good, and it wasn't. So
yeah.
and like yeah, the scene where it just kind of rips off some much better movies, like the scene where Idge, is that how you say it?
Ig.
It's Ignatius. So
Ig.
Ig.
Where the scene where Ig shows his brother what Marin felt is like the exact same scene from The Crow.
Yeah.
Like
It's pretty similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
it's the same scene. I went back and I watched that scene from The Crow, and I'm like, it's the same scene.
Yeah. Okay.
Whether that's in the book or not, or I mean, either way, in the movie.
Unfortunately,
And-
it's been so long since I read the book, I don't remember detail by detail.
Okay,
I do remember loving the book.
I'm sure the book is better.
So I'm gonna assume, because Joe Hill's a good writer.
You can
Yeah.
do a lot more with that unreliable narrator in a book when not everything is on the screen to be
Right.
seen.
Yeah, you really have to nail it down if you're doing it in a movie.
You have to be very careful. Like, I feel like that's the issue. I feel like my only issue with it, I feel like this movie has a lot of stuff that's great that's there. It just, I do agree it's a little inconsistent across, and that the central plot is devastating, and that how obvious it is from the off that it's Lee.
Yeah,
Like,
See, I didn't think so, but
yeah,
you know me, I go into movies not trying to figure it out, and I couldn't remember
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's
from the
so
book or movie.
so
But
obvious that's Lee.
yeah. And either way, like I just wasn't invested in this
Yeah.
solving
Okay.
this murder thing. It was
Right.
It just felt like because it started and it's like okay, we have this. His girlfriend died. He has horns now, which they never. Maybe I missed something, but they never really said
They
why
don't.
why he gets horns, or he just
Yeah.
like wakes up one day with horns and
Yeah, they did.
and then he can see what everyone else is thinking,
Yeah.
and it's just like okay, why?
Yeah.
And it
So
did,
I know
and then he
that-
turns into a demon at the end.
Yeah.
But there was
Never
no
know
like
why.
selling your soul
Right.
or any sort of justification for what happened.
Yeah, and there's not in the movie. There's not, and I can't remember if there is in the book.
Yeah, that seems like something you would want to include.
I feel like I do remember there was more to it in the book.
Okay.
Like I feel like when I watched the movie, there was things missing,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Well, I mean,
His
his name I feel like is a subtle nod, right?
Well, yeah,
Ignatius Parish,
Yeah.
Parish,
Yeah.
which is a church, and so
Okay.
it's literally like burning, flaming church.
Right.
Is his name? Like, there's a couple things in
That's
there.
a little
where
too
it's
clever
like,
for its own good.
I was like, that's.
Well, that's probably more of a Joe Hill clever.
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this like a
Then-
Family Guy quote? It insists upon itself.
It doesn't insist about that, but like, I feel like yes, like I feel like I haven't read the book either, but I feel like when I was reading in my like research for this that like it is a little more explained, but I think it is also supposed to be like he wonders, which I don't think you ever wonder in the movie. He wonders if he sprout horns because he did kill her. Like,
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And I feel like
I mean,
that
I think
is-
that's in the movie.
It
Like, I feel
is,
like that's
but
there.
I don't feel like it's
it's
as
very
believable.
little in the movie, and
It's
I
kinda
feel
more
like that
upfront.
was more in the book a internal struggle.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like he mentions that like after he first gets horns, or
Yeah.
he starts kind of
Yeah.
thinking about why
He
why
says
this
it
is
like
happening.
once, and then from then on, he's like, I definitely didn't do it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that could have been expanded a little bit. The
Yeah.
self-reflection, I think, would have made it even better.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit more moral ambiguity.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like
Nice.
the one of the central struggles is that he's not sure if he did it or not.
Yeah.
Like,
And like I said, which
Uh.
I'm probably going to reread this book just because I can't remember it. And now I'm curious as to what all was different, because I feel like that was more of a plot in the
Yeah.
book.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, and that would go a long way in like not explaining why this is happening, or giving some sort of a emotional justification for why this is
Right.
happening. That you can kind of like suspend disbelief and go with.
Right.
But I don't think the movie does that enough to justify
No.
the the conceit.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, so it starts, and it's like, okay, and then he gets horns, and he starts hearing people. Like, okay, this can be fun. Like, we can go for
Yeah.
this just kind of quirky comedy kind of thing. But then it just kind of switches into like I said, like the murder mystery
Yeah,
kind of
we-
thing, and it
yeah.
just doesn't gel
Yeah.
together. It's
Like,
disappointing. There's a lot of potential for a fun movie here.
Yeah.
I could care about the murder mystery. I feel like it needs to be more mysterious, and I feel like they give you too much with like and not enough, because from what I understand in the book, like the fact that Lee is a psychopath
Yeah.
is like a kind of developed story. Like, it's not, this isn't the only thing he's done
Right.
that's like this. And they don't know, but they kind of know. And there's like, I mean, I think I was reading that like he like tortures his mom and kills her because she was like an abusive parent. And there's
Mhm.
like a couple other indicators that Lee is not normal.
Right.
But everyone else is like, he's the best. And that could have been so good and so scary, but like it just
They
ended
didn't
up
touch on it
feeling cheap. That
Right.
like when his reveal, it's like it's not a psychopath. It's just a guy who felt entitled to a woman, which is normal and like could be really neat in the context of a horror movie.
Mhm.
But like just not as there could have been
more.
there,
And I think
yeah.
they attempted to bring that out a little bit when like he's beaten.
When he's murdering her, yeah.
When he's beating Ignatius.
Yeah.
And
He's
then
having fun with it, yeah.
yeah, and then at the end when he shoots the cop and blows his head off,
Mm-hmm.
he's like laughing about it.
Yeah.
So like I think they attempted, but they needed to dive a little more. I agree
Mhm.
with that.
Yeah.
I mean, as just a movie, me going in and watching a movie, I enjoy this movie. I still enjoyed it this time. I did see. Obviously, I was like, "Whoa, what's all this nudity? I don't remember this," and I figured Josh wouldn't like it when I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not surprised that you didn't like it.
It's
So,
good that we can anticipate each
Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely saw a lot of what you're talking
Josh
about.
wouldn't like it. That's why I was like, I feel like I'm in the middle, so I'm just gonna let Josh
Yeah.
go ahead with this.
So
Um,
I definitely want to reread the book, and that might be the next book I'm reading, just to see the difference, because I feel like I remember it being so much more powerful
In the book,
than the movie was when I watched it this time.
I love the
So I'm
concept.
assuming maybe it was the book that was.
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the story like executed well,
Yes.
Yeah.
being very resonating more
Right.
with the reader or viewer.
I love the concept. I love the like, I enjoyed the like flashbacks between childhood and adulthood. I feel like
Right.
Stephen King does it really well. I feel like Joe Hill probably does it very well also. I did like seeing little baby Sabrina Carpenter because that was
That's what I was gonna say. I did
Yeah.
not even know that was her.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even. I wasn't even
she
thinking
plays
about it.
baby Juno Temple in it.
Yeah.
And like I feel like yes, I feel like this needs more time. I feel like maybe this wasn't a smart one to make into a movie because I think you have to simplify things
Mm-hmm.
that should be should build tension, and they're just not. It's like
Yeah.
I feel like this concept could have rode out a miniseries a little better, where you could have delved into a couple of those things a little more
Right.
Yeah.
deeply, and like something like slasher, like how like there's like the slasher miniseries or whatever. Like,
Mhm.
give us a couple more suspects. Give us a few
Right.
give
A
me
little deeper.
give me a episode where we think it's the brother, not
Yeah.
10 minutes, and
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, the movie is simultaneously too long and doesn't have enough
Right.
going on.
Right.
It just doesn't go
And
deep.
it's like trying to do too many things at one
Mhm.
time. I feel like if they had just taken an aspect of the book and adapted that,
right.
Right.
and then left this other part out of it,
Yeah.
would have been fine.
Yeah. I can
Trying
see
to
that.
kind of cram the book
That's
into a 2-hour movie.
yeah. That's how
Yeah.
it feels.
Because you have to. I mean, you have to really cut things when you
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
adapt a book. I mean,
Yeah. I was surprised to see that before Daniel Radcliffe, Shia LaBeouf was originally casted.
I could have seen that.
yeah, I could see him in this.
So I mean, I could see it.
It would have been weird for Optimus Prime to show up. though, and him to scream, "No, no, 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 no!"
No, 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 no. That is hilarious. Yeah. But I mean, that's interesting. I could see it working.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't like the cast is not the problem at all.
No.
No,
Cast
I
is
don't
very
think so
good.
either.
They're very
Yeah.
capable.
everyone was very good. That's like I was like, poor Joe Anderson gets cast as a junkie quite a bit, but he does a really great job with
Yeah,
it, man.
I mean, some people.
Like some people just have a vibe, I guess. Like, but I mean that scene where he's like, that's from The Crow, essentially, where he's just
Yeah.
finish it all, basically. It's like there's a little bit there where it's like, is he gonna kill him? Like, what's
Yeah,
like what's happening here? Are we just forcing rock bottom into this person?
Yeah.
Which I think is essentially what happened. And I do love some of like the reveals, some of the people's like darkest thoughts, and like the reveal that like his parents do think that he killed her, and they're still like defending him, and he's like, what, why would you do that? Like, if you don't believe me, why are you defending me?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's so hard. Like, that would be a hard thing to face. There's some stuff there that's great. It just, I agree that it's kind of a little all over the place on most of it.
I could see
Mhm.
as I was watching it some of the issues and
Yeah.
and stuff, and that's what makes me want to reread the book because I don't remember it being so.
is the book very long?
It's listening wise, it's 13 hours.
No,
That's pretty decent then.
Yeah.
it's
It's
actually,
probably gonna be like 400 pages, maybe
Yeah, probably
something like
about.
that.
that's pretty long.
So yeah, I mean it's a longer
So
book.
there's definitely a lot more going on in the
That's
book.
there.
Yeah, yeah. So I think I'm gonna. I actually downloaded it because I didn't know if I was gonna be able to listen to it before the podcast, which I wasn't. But I'm gonna listen to it again and just really see how it compares to the movie. And I feel like that's probably why I enjoyed the movie when it came out. I bet I did read the book a while before the movie came out
Yeah,
because then I had forgotten some plots and things.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you read the book and like these things that the movie's not showing you, then you're kind of like you can fill in the gaps
That might
easier.
I guess that's
Mhm.
true. Yeah.
And you can be like, oh, well, that's why this is So
Right.
I get that.
So maybe
But
that's also what it was. And
yeah.
this time I didn't have that knowledge because I don't remember. Overall, I definitely saw more plot holes this time
Hmm.
than I did before. I also realized there was a lot more nudity than I remember. But
It's pretty funny though. Like you got to admit the nudity.
oh yeah, it is
It's
funny.
pretty
Yes,
funny.
it's funny.
It is funny.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean, it in a way it's trying to show sin and
Yeah.
good and evil and things like that, but
Lack of impulse.
Like if the movie had
Yeah.
continued down that path,
That could've
right,
been
I
fun.
think it
that would have been a
great.
fun movie.
I feel
It
like
just-
Daniel Radcliffe does play bewildered by other people's actions really
He
well.
does.
where
Yeah,
he's
he does
just
play
like,
that very.
What?
His reactions, like when the ladies and the ladies like and her kid, and she's talking about wanting to have sex with her golf
Yeah,
pro or tennis
yeah.
pro or whatever. That stuff's great. Like his reaction to that really makes it
Yeah.
really funny.
Yeah, he's fun.
He's
I like when he's talking to the reporters and he's like, "How about you just fight yourself?"
Yeah.
Why don't you just fight till and whoever gets an exclusive interview
Right.
with me. I feel like I'd like, not to make this the Daniel Radcliffe show, but he was in this and he's worth talking about have you ever seen the video where it's like Daniel Radcliffe discovered he had free will and it's just like clips of like movies like this or like some things he's done since where it's just like why would you volunteer to do that with your life or things like going on and doing like the ABC rap and like just being totally he's just an out of pocket person.
Yeah.
Have you seen the drag queen skit from Miracle Workers where he sings "She's Coming Around the Mountain" in full drag? It's amazing.
But I was gonna say, I bet it's amazing.
I was like, it's so funny.
Yeah. No, I think he does well.
Yeah, he's fun. I feel like he has a very like boyish charm to him generally, even now as like a very adult man.
It's still hard not to look at him as like a teenager.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though he's probably in his 30s now.
He's older than me, so.
But like he's still like to me because I saw him first, when I was like in high school.
Yeah.
And he was like 8 or something in Harry Potter. And it's like, oh, that's always gonna be that kid.
Right.
I don't care how many if you grow a beard, you're still.
Yeah, and I
Still
think that does play into some of these roles that he does. That's so out
Yeah,
of pocket.
and I
That
mean,
you're just like, that's funny. Like
Well,
Yeah, it's really hard to live down.
it adds like a
something
little
that.
quirk to it.
It
in
does.
itself.
He is 35, so he's
Okay.
your age essentially,
Yeah.
Aaron. So and
Yeah.
like I don't know. I feel like that is definitely a thing. Oh, he really tried, I guess, early in his career to distance himself from that. Like the first thing he did coming out of Harry Potter was do Equus, which is a play where you're the main character's like nude on the stage for like half the play.
Yeah, I
So,
remember
like,
reading about that.
He was trying to like distance, and then he jumped straight into doing horror movies. I feel like to also try to like be like, I'm an adult. I can do serious adult things.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
think
have
he's
to
done
play
well
a
for
kid
himself.
forever.
But I mean, overall, I think I still enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
I do think there were parts that I just didn't enjoy as much, and it might be like you said. Maybe it was because I the first time could fill in from the book,
Yeah.
so it might have been that. But I am excited to reread the book though, and just see because I do love Joe Hill's writing style.
No.
I was just looking up, seeing what adaptations of his
Joe Hill.
books. I didn't know the Black Phone was
The
his.
Black Phone says, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was okay.
Which I haven't read Black Phone.
That was all right.
That's why I haven't seen the movie.
Oh, okay. Well, the
all right.
movie's all right.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's getting a sequel. I know
kids
that.
really like the movie, is what I've learned.
He also has a TV series for Nosferatu.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great book. I have not seen the series because when it came out, I tried to watch it and there was something, I forget what, was a big difference or something about it. And that always throws me off, so I had to wait, and then I just never have watched it. So I don't know how they did with the TV series, but that book is amazing.
I've heard
I love it.
good things about the series in
Yeah.
general. And I like it. And I guess he's done like
Yeah, it
some of
looks
the
like
Creep
he's-
show.
There's several stories in the new Creep Show TV series on Shudder that
Or Joe.
stories were adapted.
Okay,
I didn't realize
I need to
that.
check those out.
It's a pretty fun series.
Yeah, it's
Is
good.
it?
There's like,
I haven't
I think,
checked it out at all.
4 seasons, I think, right now.
Oh wow, okay.
And Lock and Key, like that's a thing.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Joe Hill.
Yeah, I didn't realize he had so many stories adapted.
He's a
like
pretty
in the Tall
prolific-
Grass,
Yeah.
which
He's
I think was
Oh,
Tom,
yeah.
Tom Jane's
Yeah.
in that.
He's
That's
a pretty
right.
prolific writer.
I haven't
like,
watched that.
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Tall Grass the one that's him and Stephen King
Yes.
together?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's like the one they wrote together.
yeah.
No.
It's an interesting story. I have not seen the movie. I need to watch it or show whatever it is.
Yeah, I got
But-
mixed reviews, but I don't know. I thought it looked okay.
The book was very interesting, or the short story.
Yeah, he hasn't quite hit the like classic adaptations that
Yeah,
his father has,
right.
Yeah.
but
But he does have a
But that was like
he does have a lot of
yeah.
movies and shows based on his work.
And I will say I'm not a graphic novel person,
Mm-hmm.
but
Lock and Key's great.
Lock and Key is amazing.
Yep.
Oh, is that the?
It's over in the graphic novel section. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's a graphic novel. It's
It
not like
is.
a. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he also does
Basket Full
graphic
of Heads.
novels. He has
Yeah.
Basket Full of Heads, which is great.
Uh,
what was the other one? I was just
I know we ordered
recommending.
them both.
Anyways,
So.
but he's got graphic novels in there, and they're really
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's how I learned about Lock and Key, because it was Joe Hill, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Monkey's fun. It's a nice, like, Lovecraftian mystery. It's
Yeah.
cool.
And so the whole reason I even found Joe Hill was because I was reading Stephen King, and one time it recommended, like, here's a recommendation, Joe Hill. And I was like, oh, never heard of him. I'll read him. And then I was like 2 books in when I was like, man, no wonder they recommended this. Like, this is so much like Stephen King. He has a lot of the
Like, it's
same
his kid.
feel to it. And I Googled him, and it was like, that's his son.
Yeah.
And did you know that he is the little boy in the prologue of
the
Creepshow?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. The
Yep.
one that Tom Atkins.
Yeah, little baby.
Yeah.
Little baby Joe Hill.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I would recommend checking out a lot of his stuff.
Okay.
It's well written. I mean, like I said, as far as this movie goes, I still enjoyed it. I did see some plot holes this time around. That's why I figured you wouldn't like it. But
Yeah, I mean,
I still enjoyed it.
my main problem is just it's just inconsistent tonally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's my main issue, and it just goes on too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot there that could be good. It just,
Focuses on the wrong things.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For the runtime that it has. Like you said, like if it was a miniseries, like 4-episode series or something.
I could see that work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that working really well.
Yeah.
That would allow the murder mystery like aspect
Build.
To build.
to gestate,
Yeah.
And I think like the culmination would be much more earned.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like murder mysteries in general do better when they have more time.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think that you need time to wander, to like ponder each suspect, and you
Right.
need people to have apt time to be like, oh, what if it was them? What like, you know,
Yeah.
you have to be able to put your red herrings in there, so to speak,
sure.
or whatever.
I mean, I guess I'd still give it 2 thumbs up for me because I did still enjoy it. I enjoy Radcliffe's performance.
I give it a thumb and a half. Maybe.
Okay.
Like, it was good. I'm glad I watched it again.
Yeah.
I like all the actors in it, so I don't want to like tank it for their sake. But, yeah. I mean, I also see some of the issues, so like a thumb and a half.
I go 2 thumbs down. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Thumbs
I
down.
figured.
I think I rated it 2 stars on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Which is, to me,
Yeah.
that's a no. That's a no.
So 3.5 thumbs out of 6.
3.5 thumbs.
Yeah.
So I guess that brings us to the end of our discussion about horns. And we will need to pick a movie for
Yeah.
next time
Who wants
around.
to pick this
Yay.
time?
Wait, let me do it. Let me do it. I don't know. Have I done
Oh,
it
listen to
recently?
that amazing machine work.
Oh man, spent so much money on this thing.
All right. It is Unforgiven, 1992.
That's you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nice. Unforgiven is, I mean, it's one of the finest westerns
Okay.
you'll ever see, and I think you'll like it. It
Okay.
is not your typical western.
Yeah.
It's
I
not.
think you
It's
might
not
like
Once Upon a Time in the West, which I know you didn't like. The one with Charles Bronson.
Oh yeah.
It's just a great movie. It won Best Picture,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
the Oscars. Gene Hackman won. It's just one of the best movies. It's one of the ones that I look back on and be like, why don't we make movies like that anymore?
Okay.
That can also like be very acclaimed, but also like popular and people like them. You know, they just don't
Yeah.
really make those anymore,
Yeah.
as evidenced by the Oscars this year.
Yeah.
I think it'll
good.
surprise you.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not what you're gonna expect.
All right.
So
Well, that could be exciting then.
so we'll do that on the next episode. Unforgiven.
Yeah.
Unforgiven.
Yep. So Unforgiven on the next episode, and I guess that brings us to the end. So until then, I'm Aaron,
I'm Josh.
I'm Toby.
and this has been The Real Opposites.